Hey everyone, my name's Aaron, and I'm so excited to be sitting down here today at KPC Studios in beautiful downtown Kirkland with Kathryn Straub, who is the executive director of the Kirkland Chamber of Commerce. And we're just talking all things Chamber of Commerce, all things Kirkland. Kirkland is a beautiful city. We think everyone should come and hang out here, right? Mm-hmm. And so thanks for coming over and chatting with us about the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, thank you, Aaron. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
So this is kind of like the Chamber of Commerce for newbies, you know, and so I'm going to ask you some questions that might be obvious to some of you out there, but are good informative questions to ask someone who's new to, maybe it's a local business, maybe they've heard of such a thing as the Chamber of Commerce, but maybe they don't know what it's all about. So the first thing is, what is a Chamber of Commerce anyway? And what does an organization like that do for businesses in the city?
That's a good question. And the Chamber of Commerce is a lot of things, first of all. But number one, we are a community building organization, and we are an organization that is based on relationships. And that's what we do. We build relationships. So that's the fundamental basis of our organization, but we do so much more. Much more.
Right. And how long have you lived in Kirkland? Actually, you're a Kirkland resident.
27 years. Yes.
27 years. So yes. I think, there's a lot of transplants, obviously, in the Seattle area and the surrounding area and on the east side, doing tech jobs, doing all kinds of different things. People come in here to start businesses and everything. But you're a longtime Kirklander, yes. A homegrown Kirklander. So what do you think your unique perspective is on this city, and how do you see Kirkland as a community? What's your take on this city as a longtime Kirklander?
So yes, I have been here a long time. We raised our children here. They went through the Kirkland School District, Lake Washington School District. And we had a business here ourselves. My husband and I, we had our business in Kirkland. So not only do I bring the perspective of an executive director, I also bring the perspective of a business owner in Kirkland who was a member of the Chamber of Commerce back in the day. So my take on Kirkland is that we are a larger city with a very small town personality and a very small town heart.
Right. I feel that too, and I'm not as long of a long timer as you, but I've been in the Seattle area for a while, and I live up in Edmonds now, but I work in Kirkland, at KPC Studios. And that is definitely the impression that I get, especially kind of right here in historic downtown Kirkland. It feels like such a small, tight-knit community, and in like the good way, you know what I mean? Where people know each other. It's like, oh yeah, these people down here at this hotel or this business or this organization or whatever, talk to them. I know them, and they'll, tell them I sent you, and kind of that kind of thing.
Exactly. And when you go to any of our events, you see a lot of hugging. People are truly longtime friends and business associates. Those bonds have gone on for years. So yes, but it is also a very welcoming community. And we find a lot of our younger members of the chamber, our newer members, a lot of solopreneurs, a lot of 30-somethings, they are joining for the sense of community and the sense of belonging that they find with our organization. And it's really interesting people, because a lot of the traditional ways of meeting people aren't around as much. Yeah, so we are another form of a way for people to connect and meet people.
That's so interesting, because I think, businesses throw that term around a lot, like, oh, this is a community, kind of a thing. And sometimes I think people roll their eyes like, okay, yeah, but, and especially with an organization like the Chamber of Commerce, there's maybe an assumption out there that it's kind of like, it's all about the money, sort of a thing. And it's all about, and obviously that's a part of it. We're trying to help each other succeed in business. But that's interesting, to hear you say that about just the community aspect, because I definitely feel that as a member of this community as well.
Yeah.
So,
and the chamber provides a lot of your traditional benefits, like ribbon cutting, the advertising, the directory, all that. But the true the true value of our chamber is the things that are very difficult to measure. They're the human aspect of the fact that you've got all these people that are willing to help you.
Right.
And that's what community is.
Right.
And community is having access to something much bigger than your own business. And when you get that all working together as a community, businesses can be unstoppable. They truly are. They are tapped into something really big. And a lot of people don't understand the value of community, and it's hard to express to them the value. But those who get it and those who are part of it, they really do understand that.
Right. Yeah, and I was just thinking as you were explaining that, like, how many stories have we heard of great business, successes or whatever that were predicated on, and then I called this person and they gave me this idea of X, Y, or Z, or I reached out to my friend who's in a partner business at this, and they were able to invest this time in me, to give me counsel on this or this business opportunity or whatever it is. But it really is all relational, even no matter how big your business is.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is. And I have to say, one of our oldest continuous business memberships is Lee Johnson Auto Family. I mean, they started back in 1933 in downtown Kirkland. And
wow.
Yeah. And he realized, Lee Johnson, the value of community and the connections and credibility and trust. And I mean, to this day, they're still one of our best members of the community and the chamber. But you never know where your connections are going to lead.
Right.
And you go to a luncheon and maybe you don't, no one there really was someone that you thought you made a connection with.
Sure.
And then you find out a week later, someone there talked about you to someone else and they call you. So you just never know.
Right.
And that's what community and networking is. And that is the essence of what we do. We connect people that wouldn't normally be connected. For instance, we connect the city with people in the business community. We have the connections to all of our education institutes. You've heard me talk about how much I value Northwest University, Lake Washington Technical School, the Lake Washington School District. We've got such a wealth of knowledge here in our community. The educational facilities, the business, the nonprofits, they're all connected. So we kind of, I see myself as like a bumblebee that goes around and kind of makes sure everybody knows everybody and everybody can get value out of those relationships.
Right. I love that. So let's back up just a little bit. And, common maybe misconception I wanted you to speak into, is the chamber a government agency?
No, we're not. That's a common misconception that I think it's because the word commerce is in our name.
Chamber.
Commerce.
Yeah.
People think we're part of the city, the city of Kirkland, but we're not. We are a membership-based organization. We are a 501c6 for our nonprofit. And then we also have our foundation that's a 501c3. So we are not in any way affiliated with the city other than our relationship. We are very close.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. We have a close relationship with the city, as most chambers do. And we're very much part of the same community. So it's very important that we have a close relationship with the city.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So talk about some of the advantages of being a member of the Chamber of Commerce and what you get for different maybe levels of membership, or what, let's say I'm a new business in town and I'm interested in joining the Chamber of Commerce. What's your pitch to me as like, here's why you'd want to join? Yeah.
So we do have several memberships based on what you want out of the chamber.
Right.
So we first need to find out where you're at with your business. If you're new, a lot of new businesses that are kind of dipping their toe into the chamber, they just want some credibility. A lot of them are home-based businesses.
Sure.
They don't have a physical address. So the chamber gives them that credibility. They can put our logo on their website, and they have access to all of our events. They can come to our member events, which are luncheons, after hours events, and they can start networking and start building their community.
Gotcha.
And then as a business is more mature, I would say, and they want more visibility, they might move up in our tiers. I can give you an example of Davy Trees, for instance. Davy Trees is our top tier, which is a champion member. And they are traditionally an East Coast company of arborists. They actually take care of all the grounds for Augusta for the Masters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when they came over to the West Coast, nobody knew their name.
Right.
So they needed a lot of visibility, a lot of name recognition. So they came in as a chamber champion membership, their logos on everything. They wanted as many introductions as they needed to get immersed in our community. Fast track. So
and they understood the value of that, even as a giant business, you know, but they were new to the area, as you said. So they were like, hey, how do we integrate? So it sounds like they understood the value of that.
Yes. And they reached out right away. So other ones like Evergreen Hospital, they're the largest employer in the Kirkland area. They're a community hospital. And they also are champions of the chamber, and we helped them quite a bit with the Prop 1 and getting Prop 1 passed last year. We gave them a platform to speak as much as they wanted, and we introduced them to as many businesses as we could think of also to get their word out so we could save our community hospital. So they are big members of the chamber at a champion level. So back to your question. So we have different levels for based on what you need. So when we meet someone who wants to join, that's what we want to know is where are you at and what do you need? And then we see what we can do to try and fit them into a tier that works for them.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So speaking about credibility, you know, I've heard about this thing called the Seal of Origin. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? It's a little bit, you know, mystical or whatever, but this is something that definitely lends credibility to a local business. And what is that all about?
Yeah. So the chamber has been associated with credibility and trust for many years. And people don't realize that the Chamber of Commerce is tasked with providing the seal of origin to exporting companies. So anyone who is exporting a good from our area needs to have a seal of origin from the Chamber of Commerce. Okay, gotcha. So for instance, in Kirkland, we have a lot of fish that is exported out of this area. Yep. We have Fisherman's Finest, Sagda, Michimoto. There's a lot of fish companies here.
Sure. Yep.
And when they have a fish that they're sending to Lithuania, for instance, they need a stamp of authenticity that it was truly fished from these waters. And then once they get that seal of origin, they are eligible for different breaks on tariffs and taxes. So.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it's not just a kind of social credibility that you're lending to these, you know, these local businesses. This is an actual, this can turn into dollars, you know, obviously, you know, of income for these people because, you know, people in Lithuania buying fish, they want to know that it's locally caught and not some counterfeit thing or whatever. And so.
Right. So members of our chamber, if they're a member, they get to have the seal of origin stamp for free versus they have to pay for another chamber to stamp it if they're not a member. We have a lot of members here, and it's fun to see where products are being exported to from Kirkland. Right. I mean, Lithuania, China, Japan, Slovenia, they all over the world. So, and not just fish, we also have antennas, a lot of antennas. Different things are sent from Kirkland. So, so Susan in our office, she's our office administrator. She handles the seals of origin, and she keeps the book. And it's fascinating to flip through the book and see what we're exporting
where
from
everything's
Kirkland.
Going,
it makes us puts us on the global scale. Not only are we a local commerce, we also contribute to the global commerce.
Yeah, it's easy to forget, especially with it having such a small town vibe, that, you know, people are doing big business here. And there's been businesses, I mean, you said, you know, with Lee Johnson, been around since 1933, almost 100 years, you know, like, you know, what company has, you know, what other companies can say they've been around that long, you know, I mean, and so that's quite an accomplishment, you know, obviously. And so that's really cool. So talk about, I mean, do you have any other stories, you know, specific stories of local businesses that have kind of, you know, networked within the chamber and then, you know, success stories have like happened from there? Can you think of one to share?
Well, I have a couple stories. I mean, our bookkeeper has sworn that her entire business is due to her networking at the chamber. She said she owes the success of her entire business to our chamber.
Right.
But we also have businesses that we were able to help. So, for instance, Kitchen and Market, they're down by Burgermaster.
Okay.
You know where? Do you know them? Mm-hmm. Kitchen and Market is owned by a woman named Stephanie King, and she opened Kitchen and Market here in Kirkland about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And right after she opened, it was their fourth location, I believe, she found out she had cancer.
Oh, gosh.
And so our business community kicked in. We got her a membership through our foundation. We started having events at Kitchen and Market. The business community really rallied around her to make sure her business would succeed while she was ill. And thankfully, a year down the road, she's doing great and the business is doing well. So that's one example of how we will help out and advocate for a business.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Just to like drill down on that a little bit, this is somebody who could have lost their business, like seriously could have lost their business, obviously with a serious health challenge like that. And due to these real, actual relationships that they had formed within the chamber, they were able to keep their business and still be in business today. I mean, that's quite a statement to the power of this organization.
And the Kitchen and Market community that loved her store and loved her business just rallied around and really supported her. And they are supporting her to this day. And it's so nice to see that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love the most. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Another company that we were able to give assistance to was Bob Forgrove with Flat Bike. So they are a manufacturer in the Totem Lake area, and they were seriously impacted when the tariffs all kicked in. So we were able to connect him to the right people. It was actually above our pay grade on these tariffs things. But we were able to connect him to some people at the city who were able to work with him and help him out quite a bit.
Yeah, that's an interesting sort of sub point too, which is that even if you're not able to directly help, you can connect them with someone who can. So it's this relationship tying together kind of a thing where it's like, hey, I know this guy, really cool guy, great business, he's in trouble. You know what? Who you need to talk to is this person. And sometimes, especially starting a new business or whatever, it can be very isolating. And so
very isolating.
To have that advocacy, is like, oh, I didn't know, there was somebody who could help me with this, And I think, without that, tragically, some people just end up giving it up or hanging it up or having to close down or whatever.
Yeah.
And
and I think people are good people. They want to help. And sometimes people don't want to accept help. But people do truly want to help. And I remember when this gentleman was at one of our luncheons and he was saying, describing the troubles he was having, so many people wanted to help. They were like, what can we do? We got to get you some help. And that's how our community is.
Right.
Community is all about helping one another and showing up when you need it.
Right.
And when I was a business owner, I was much younger and I didn't realize the value of community and I didn't like to ask for help either, to be honest. And if I could go back at my younger self, I would definitely say you need to reach out and you need to let people help you when you need help.
Isn't that interesting? Because it's a little bit of a catch-22 because I think people like you, like myself, I'm like this too, where we're self-motivated. And so people who start businesses are going to be self-motivated, but there's a kind of implicit thing in there like, I can do it myself. I can do this. I can do this. And you need that in some respects. Obviously, you need to have that drive, in a certain respect. But then also when challenges come up, sometimes people like us can feel isolated because we've built this world of like, I can do it myself. And so that's an interesting sort of juxtaposition there, but also I think informative for local businesses to know like, hey, there is help out there. And because you will come into a situation where you need help, no matter the size of your business, whatever, like you said, with that East Coast company, a big company who could say, hey, we don't need help here or whatever, but they actually knew the value of local integration and relationships in community and things like that. So I think that's very interesting.
Right. And even if you don't need help, the value of synergy from other businesses is huge. You're tapping into a resource that you didn't even know you had, you know, or you didn't know the value of it until you tap into it. It's powerful.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting too, because I would imagine, and actually I'm going to ask you about your events because you have a few coming up, but at these events, you know, your business could be doing great, but then you meet someone at one of these events and it's something you've literally like never even thought of, some kind of business partnership there. Or what it's like a restaurant meets with a local, whoever it is, you know, and it's like, wow, I would have not thought about this, you know, this connection here, but here we are, you know, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Like even Kirkland Performance Center, you know, Vaughn's Thousand Spirits moving in, and Jeff Lockhart, your executive director, he's like, I need to meet this person. Can you make the introduction? I'm like, sure. So I introduced him. We were all going to their soft opening, and we're all going to meet, and that's the start of the relationship that we'll build. So that's a good example of that. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, the funny thing, working at KPC, at Kirkland Performance Center, we laugh all the time about people who have lived here for 20 years. They've driven by the theater hundreds of times, and then they finally come in one day and they're like, oh, I thought this was a movie theater, you know, or whatever. They literally have, so you don't know, just because you've been a business in the local, you know, area for a while, people are just kind of out there doing their thing and living their lives. And, you know, if you're not making that effort to build that relationship with your customer, with, you know, fellow businesses or whatever, it's just easy to get ignored, you know, even if you've been here for 35 years, like KPC,
gosh,
you know.
Yeah, so, Aaron, you're so right. Okay, so when we had our business, I didn't realize all the resources of Kirkland. I honestly didn't. You do live in your own little bubble. You're very stressed out. You're very busy.
Just trying to make it work.
And you're just trying to make it work. You're dealing with payroll. You're dealing with all the stuff you have to deal with, and you don't look outside that. And that is a very common mistake. And it is hard, but I really encourage business owners to do that, to get outside of their business and get out there, because it really does benefit. I had no idea Kirkland Performance Center it's one of the gems of Kirkland. And I didn't know about it. So, so that's one of the things we do at the chamber is we do these after hours and member luncheons. And we go to different places in the community so people can see what we have here in our community and utilize the resources that we have here in Kirkland. Because Kirkland is an amazing place.
I agree. Yeah, it is an amazing place. And it's fun to be down here and work down here. And, you know, I'd be remiss not to say, Kirkland Performance Center is not a movie theater. No. What we actually are is a 400-seat venue, and we've been around for about 25, 30 years or so, and we put on all kinds of shows and concerts, TED Talks. We rent out the theater. You can rent the theater out there. So just a little plug for my day job.
Absolutely. So, I am so impressed with
Come check out Kirkland Performance Center too. And
state of the art. I was blown away when I had a tour. I had no idea. No idea. So
we're there too. Yeah. So you have these, you're kind of built around, obviously your memberships, but then your local kind of networking events is sort of the bread and butter of what it means to be a chamber member. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So you have a few coming up. Can you talk about what these events are and what happens at these events?
So June 12th, it's called We Choose Kirkland, because we all choose to live, work, go to school, do business here in Kirkland. And the mayor will give a speech and talk about what's going on in Kirkland, the future. It's a way that you can have access to the city officials, listen to what they have planned. And then after the mayor will speak, we will have Dr. Jeremy Johnson, who is the president of Northwest University, another gem in our community, I believe. They offer all kinds of advanced graduate programs and things our community doesn't even realize that they have. And he's new, so we wanted the community to meet him. So he'll speak for a little while. And then after that, we have Dr. Beatty from Fairfax Behavioral Health, who is a fantastic speaker. So our events, not only do you get to meet and network with all these interesting people and people from all different facets of the community, it gives you a little nourishment for your brain as well. You get some intellectual stimulation as well. So
some experts up there kind of helping you.
Some interesting topics. So we have that June 12th at the Woodmark Hotel. You can
if it's pre-June 12th when you're watching this, check that out, definitely.
Oh, yes.
And obviously this, the thing with the podcast is it sort of lives forever, quote unquote. So if it's after that, where can people go just to see like whatever events you might have coming up?
Yes, on our chamber website.
Okay.
The chamber, kirklandchamber.org. We have our calendar and they can see what we have coming up there. We have events, several events every month. So we have the after hours, which is more like a cocktail party at different restaurants or venues. We're going to be at the Kirkland Performance Center and we will be doing, I believe, on stage.
On the stage
yes.
at KPC.
So that is going to be
super
exciting.
fun.
Yes.
Yep.
And then we have something at Rock Creek coming up, a member lunch, I believe, but all of that is on
always
there.
Something coming up. So perpetual sort of networking events. And then if you get involved as a member, then you're invited to those events and then you can meet people and network and hang out.
And you can always volunteer as well. So we have our golf tournament coming up. We have a yearly golf tournament, the Peter Kirk Golf Classic at Echo Falls Golf Club. Our title sponsor is Bell Red Heating and Electric, and they've done a great job as a title sponsor. They've done all kinds of little funny videos and stuff promoting the event. But if someone wants to volunteer, there's lots of volunteer opportunities as well. They can work at our events and that way they get to come. Maybe they wouldn't golf, but they get to be part of
test the waters a little bit and kind of see what it's like. That's great. So before we wrap up, I wanted to actually ask you a little bit about the foundation. You said, the chamber exists sort of in partnership with the foundation.
Exactly.
Can you tell me about the foundation? What's that all about?
So our foundation, 501c3, is the Kirkland Chamber Foundation is there to help businesses that are struggling, that need a little help. For Kitchen and Market, we gave them a free membership. Our nonprofits, a lot of our charity organizations in Kirkland, who we have over 30 that are members of our chamber, we pay for a lot of their memberships so that they can have access to some of the help and assistance through the chamber for advocacy and education. We also did an event where we helped the Lake Washington School District pay off the seniors' school lunch debt. That was very successful. Right now, we're helping Lake Washington Band get uniforms for their marching band through our foundation. But we will also give assistance to different businesses when they need it through our foundation.
Gotcha. So it's focused on philanthropy and, giving back to the community and things like that. And I would imagine you have, fundraising events to help fund, this organization. Is that right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. And it's funded in various ways. We fund through grants. We have different grants that we apply to. We have some members that their memberships go straight to the foundation, like the Kirkland Community Foundation. Their membership goes into the foundation to help other members. And then we also do fundraising, like through our gala on the Raise the Paddle. That money goes straight into our foundation.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. So kirklandchamber.org for all of you out there watching. If you want to get involved, you're a local business. Maybe you've been here a while. Maybe you're brand new. This is an organization that you want to be a part of. Definitely. So go and check them out. Anything else you want to share before we close today?
I also want to say individual members of the community can also join as a community member. You don't just have to be a business. So I wanted to throw that in. Yeah.
Okay. How does that work then? If I'm just
they just
local
call our
Kirkland
office.
resident?
We have a special rate just for individuals.
Okay.
And if someone wants to come to our luncheons and wants to be part of the business community, part of our community, but doesn't actually own a business, they're welcome to join as a community member.
Right. Cool.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us and shedding a little light on the Kirkland Chamber of Commerce. And all of you out there, definitely go to the Chamber's website, check out their Instagram, check out their calendar for upcoming events. We hope to see you at one of those coming up soon.
Thank you
so much.
Aaron. Thank you so much.